It's Debra Baker again, and we've got another episode of the CISO Guide to Cyber Resilience podcast, your trusted source for the latest in cybersecurity news and strategies. I'm Debra Baker, leveraging my 30 years of experience to help navigate the complex cybersecurity landscape. Joining me today is my insightful co-host, Isabella Otero.
Hey, Deborah, thank you. So happy to be here today. We are unpacking significant cyber threats that have been making headlines, specifically a breach linked to the Chinese hackers targeting U.S. telecommunications and potential risk to the 2024 presidential election.
Indeed, Isabella. According to the New York Post, a recent cyber attack connected to Chinese operatives compromised major U.S. telecommunications infrastructure. Prominent individuals impacted include members of the Trump family and key aides from the Harris-Biden administration. The breach allowed unauthorized access to unencrypted communication such as SMS text messages, call logs, and possibly audio data. Major telecom providers like Verizon and AT&T were reportedly affected.
Yeah, it seems to be a common theme happening during all of the elections that we have. So, this alarming breach is attributed to a group possibly affiliated with China known as Salt Typhoon. While authorities are still investigating the specifics of the data accessed, the implications are profound. Concerns are growing over potential ramifications for national security and the integrity of the 2024 election.
Yeah, one thing, the AT&T breach I'd heard about a couple months ago, I think we actually covered it.
We did.
Yeah, and I didn't realize, that it was a nation state attack because that it kind of like if they're coming after you, it's really hard to defend, when there's a nation state attack because there's just so many things that they have access to that just a normal, hacker wouldn't have. And so, but I didn't know about the Verizon one. That's the one we'll have to look into that for the next week's.
Yeah, and Verizon's the most widespread, isn't it? It's one of like the top.
I think so. Yeah. So yeah, we'll definitely have to look into this. So both CISA and the FBI have acknowledged the breach, but have refrained from detailing which individuals were targeted. The focus here is on the dangers posed by unencrypted data, which could potentially expose crucial communications that are vital for both national security and election processes.
It's worth noting that the incident fits into a larger pattern of foreign cyber aggression. Earlier this year, phishing campaigns linked to Iranian operatives targeted the Trump Vance campaign. This demonstrates how foreign actors are persistently attempting to disrupt U.S. political systems.
That's an important point, Isabella. Although the primary goal of these Chinese actors doesn't appear to be influencing the presidential election directly, their interest in congressional communications underscores broader strategic ambitions. This serves as a stark reminder of how essential it is to fortify our digital infrastructure against sophisticated threats.
Right, Deborah. Strengthening telecom security protocols, enhancing encryption standards, and ramping up government oversight are vital. This breach clearly signals the need for reinforced defenses to ensure the resilience of our communication networks.
Yeah, and talking about this reminds me that your texts are basically in clear text. So that's why you want to use Signal or WhatsApp in order to encrypt that information, just in case it ended up in the wrong hands.
Right. And I wonder for the Apple users out there, I wonder if Apple has some sort of encryption for iMessage, because I know iMessage is almost cloud based.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that would be something, that would be a good thing for us to look into.
yeah, we got to look into Apple as well.
Yeah. As cybersecurity professionals, we need to advocate for more stringent security frameworks, continuous system monitoring, and robust multi-layered defenses, which we would call defense in depth, to detect and mitigate breaches swiftly. Cybersecurity is not just about technology, it's about strategic resilience and readiness. And one of the other things I would say, it says more stringent security frameworks, but also just getting the basics down. If we could just get the basics down, like multi-factor authentication, vulnerability scanning, and patching your high-end criticals. That's just examples of things that we need to be doing. And even the not, most complex frameworks have, these type of security safeguards that we need to be implementing.
No, for sure, Deborah. That's an excellent takeaway. So, we hope today's episode prompts listeners to evaluate their organizational security and remain proactive in the face of growing cyber challenges.
Now, let's move on to another critical issue that ties into national security: election-related cyber threats. The Wall Street Journal recently published an in-depth look at how cyber threats could impact the upcoming election.
That's right, Deborah. With elections shaping up to be critical moments in a country's democratic process, the intersection of cybersecurity and electoral integrity has never been more important. Today, we'll unpack these threats and their implications.
The stakes are incredibly high. The Wall Street Journal highlights several vectors of cyber threats, from state-sponsored attacks on voter databases to ransomware targeting election infrastructure. Such tactics can create confusion and distrust in the electoral process.
And then there's the issue of misinformation. Cyber campaigns that spread false narratives through social media are a serious concern. These campaigns aim to sow doubt, discourage voter turnout, or polarize public opinion.
Yeah, and it was in the last election, presidential election, there was one website that was saying, and it looked legitimate. I mean, I actually saw the website, and they were saying that there was one county in North Carolina that hadn't counted the ballots, or, there was, and I found out a few months later that article and everything was like Russian propaganda, and it looked completely legit. And because I had read it and seen it, it surprised me. I was like, because they were just talking about one county in North Carolina. I mean, I don't know when I think about nation state, but I mean, if they do this like in, several different states and things like that, then it aggregates.
Yeah. I mean, just a little bit can go a long way. Little by little, they can put themselves out there. They know what people know what to look for. So they're trying to disguise, these websites as best as they can.
Right, right. So protecting against these threats requires a multi-layered approach. Agencies like CISA are working tirelessly to prepare election officials and the public for potential disruptions. It's about more than technology. It's about vigilance and public education.
Cyber hygiene at the organizational level is crucial. Regular vulnerability assessments, employee training, and robust incident response plans are non-negotiable. This is especially true for critical systems that manage voter rolls or results dissemination.
For democracies around the world, this is a wake-up call. Strengthening defenses is essential to safeguarding elections. And remember, cybersecurity is not just about reacting to threats, but proactively building resilience.
Yeah, like you stated before, if they were just to do the bare minimum, just have, MFA, have all these smaller things in place, it can protect you a long way. So we hope that this segment encourages our listeners to reinforce their own security measures and stay prepared.
Thank you for joining us for this important discussion. As always, stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay cyber resilient. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to pick up a copy of my book, A CISO Guide to Cyber Resilience, available on Amazon. And remember to stay cyber resilient.